Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And if you will just introduce yourselves, and away we go. Thank you, as always. All right, and next up is our Election Commission, page D05 in our books, and I'll ask them to introduce themselves and briefly make remarks, and then we'll go on to questions.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Delantis. I'm the chair of the Election Commission. We have all of our commission members. As you may know, we have an oversight commission that sees over the Election Commission. And if y'all could stand when I call your name, A.J. Starling is here. Thank you, A.J. And Jennifer Lawson is here. Thank you, Ms. Lawson. And Tricia Hertzfeld is here, or at least she was here a moment ago. And Jesse Neal is here. Thank you, Mr. Neal, for being here. And then, in addition, we have Rick Brown in the back, who's our person in charge of finance. And of course, you all know, I believe Joan Nixon is here. She's our chief deputy. And Jeff Roberts is our new AOE. And with that, I would like to thank the council and Metro Finance and the chair. And we're ready to make our presentation, which will be led by Jeff Roberts.
Thank you. And Joan and I will kind of tag team a little bit. Joan's our resident expert and my right-hand person, so I depend on Joan a great deal. We've worked very closely with Metro Finance to put our two budgets together, and they fully funded our request. If you can look on D501 and D503, you can get a feel for our two budgets. On D501, that's our operating budget, the $2,784,900. That represents the amount of money we have in the current year plus two improvements, $20,200 in total. $8,000 of that is for a financial disclosure system, which will allow candidates to enter their financial disclosure information online and make it much more transparent for the public. In addition to that, there's another $12,000 that Metro Finance put in for the increase for internal service funds. So that's pretty much our operating budget, pretty much the same as last year except for those two improvements. Then we have the election budget. That budget goes up and down every year depending on how many elections and what type they are. Presidential elections, big election, we need more staff, whatever. County primary coming up, May of 2018, smaller election. We'll have fewer voters turn out for that, so we're planning for less. If you look at last year's election budget, we had about $2.1 million in total in there for the two elections. This year, we're asking for $980,600, so a little bit less than half, but that's because we're expecting smaller turnout. We'll need fewer resources to actually pull that election off. One other thing, as far as budget goes, that I wanted to put on your radar screen, in the spring of 2019, we're looking to upgrade our voting machines, our database, those type of things. The current machines we're working on are 11 years old. They will be reaching their useful life at that time, and we want to have an opportunity to practice a little bit before the 2020 presidential primary and presidential election. So this will give us an opportunity to do that. We will start working with Metro Finance and purchasing to put an RFP on the street because there are a lot of approvals. The state has to approve the vendor. Metro will have purchasing, will have to help us. So it's a drawn out process, but we wanted to make sure you knew it was on the horizon. One thing that will help on that is that the state has funds set aside to help us pay for part of that. We're estimating somewhere in the $5.5 million range. The state would have about $2 million to help offset that cost. So just so that you know it's coming, we wanted to raise that. As a result of a lot of hard work out of the staff and very dedicated staff, the November election went very well. A few things that you probably didn't even hear about. At West End Middle School, the Nashville TV show was being filmed. Well, the voters weren't able to park at their normal spot. One of our commissioners, Ms. Hursfeld, went out and made sure that the Nashville crew knew what their issue was and what they needed to do to remedy that situation. We also had Google Fiber that had blocked an entrance to a voting location. Again, we contacted the mayor's office, and that quickly got resolved. We had some minor electrical problems where we lost power in half of a room, but our poll workers were trained in such a fashion that it didn't cause a blip. They had the equipment that they needed, the extra extension cords that they just ran those across the room, and doubt if any voters even knew we had an issue. So those are some things that we experienced in November. Quickly give you some ideas on voters. For the November election, we had 405,000 voters. That's a 9% increase over 2012. We had 252,000 vote in November, which is a 3% increase in 2012. 172,000 of those voted early, and that represents 68% of all the votes cast, which is an 11% increase. So we're seeing that trend. More and more people like the early voting option. One of the things that we did not plan on that we saw this year was that last 6 weeks when you could register to vote, we saw a 30% increase in the number of people registering in that time compared to 2012. So that's a pretty big number when you're talking about thousands of voters coming in to do that. One of the things that we're going to be focusing on in the future is voter registration, and we're continuing to focus on poll worker recruitment. For November, we used just over 1,600 poll workers that helped us. So keeping that stable of poll workers knowledgeable and happy is a big challenge. Our average age is 63, and just over 50% of those folks are baby boomers. So it's a group that we have to plan on regularly replacing. Couple districts, just to let you know, District 3, District 5, District 6, 8, and 19. You're areas that we really want to focus on for poll workers. You're our biggest challenge right now. So we will be trying to make a real effort to get out there and hit all of those events in your community. Right now, last year, we participated in 181 events countywide. Weekends, fairs, at night, whatever, we've got somebody there trying to register voters and recruit poll workers. So far this year, we have 74 events either have already happened or they're scheduled. One of the things that people always ask us, do we turn away many people from voting? And before I came here, it was a question that I asked, and the answer is no, because there's an option called a provisional vote, where even if we don't have you registered, we're going to allow you to vote on paper, and then we will look up after the election to see whether or not maybe there was a glitch. Maybe the Department of Safety didn't get your registration over to us, some of those kind of things, so that we can, then your vote can potentially count, and we let everyone know how their vote ended up, whether or not we could count it or whether or not we could not count it. Part of that also deals with voter IDs. We had 123 folks in November that voted a provisional ballot because they did not have their ID with them. So if you spread that across our 160 precincts, you can see we're talking one, less than one at most of those. Now, one of the things that we have seen, college students, they want to use their driver's license that's not from Tennessee, and we can't use that. So that's going to be an educational push that we're going to do in the future to try to make sure those college students know you've got to have a Tennessee driver's license or a Tennessee ID of some type, or bring your passport. You know, there are a few options out there, and I feel like these folks would be in better shape if we provide a little bit more education to them as to what to expect when they get to that voting booth.
So thank you very much, and we're going to run on to questions. Council Lady Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Cooper. I just want to say I am just pleased with the staff of your office, your board, your commissioners as well. You all do an incredible job. I do want to give a shout out to Carlatina Hampton back there. She goes above and beyond to help us when we come down there to ask for information and to get information that we need when we're running and so forth, so on. So I just wanted to make sure that Ms. Hampton is recognized here because she does an incredible job. Also, Joan,
Yes.
I don't know if the election commission could survive without you.
Well,
But she's just a superwoman of the entire election commission office, and we really appreciate you. And she does an incredible job as well. My question is around the software. I think it's very exciting to see that you are looking to install financial disclosure software. This is going to enable people to be able to look at our financial disclosures online. This has been something that has been really big with my constituents and others that have asked, why is that not available like they do at the state? So to be able to move forward with that is exciting. When do you project that that is going to be in place? What's your timeline? And will the PDFs that will be put online, will they be in indexed and searchable PDF format?
that'll be part of the RFP process, and we will put what we need to see or what the voter or the citizen needs to see. And we'll go through that process of checking off what needs to be looked at as we're going through that RFP process. It could be very similar to what the state offers, the state candidates, an opportunity to file their disclosures online. So we'll kind of use it as a guide, and we may tweak it where it really resonates with what we do on the local level.
Thank you. Well, again, like I said, that is something that people will really look forward to being put in place. So please keep us updated as you move forward in putting that in place. Also, with the explosive growth, I know that you mentioned that you were going to focus on certain areas. Is it Administrator Roberts? Is that what I'm supposed to say? Okay. With the amount of growth that is expected, do you anticipate any additional asks within your budget to accommodate that?
You know, right now, the staff and I, we all met and tried to look at the staffing that we have after the election, how it went, where our weaknesses and strengths were, and the decision was made today based on what we know. We think we've got enough staff going forward. That's not to say as we get closer to, say, the 2020 presidential election, that we might not have more staff. If you look at, you know, the cranes in downtown Nashville, a lot of people are moving here, so we anticipate a growth in our voter registration.
Okay, and I want to make sure to say also, ending, that we want to keep the early vote sites in Southeast Nashville. We want our constituents to have access to the early voting opportunities. So please make sure when you're factoring in your sites and your budget that Southeast Nashville does have access during that time.
Thank you,
Right.
Council Lady.
Thank you.
And on to Councilman Glover. Hang on. There we are.
Thank you, Chair. I think I want to ask this question to Mr. Roberts and probably Ms. Lomax. The last year, one of the things that I wasn't real tickled with was that we were moving money into a special administrative account to pay for the elections, et cetera. How did that work? Number one. Number two, can you help me try to understand the way that the numbers are written in here on your, and I'm specifically looking at D053. Was that money not used, or is that money that is not going to be needed as we go forward this year? Can you kind of help me explain? And we can take specifically August 2016 primary election, early voting, $309,700 that we have in the parentheses. So was that money utilized, or did we not end up needing that amount of money?
Sure. The best way to look at those negative numbers, those were put in last year as a non-recurring item so that at the end of the year, all the money comes out, whether or not we use it for presentation purposes, it all comes out, and you put in new money for the next election. So that whole $2,099,000 comes out. We used most of that for the two elections. And then you're going to put another new non-recurring amount of $986,600 for next year's election. So it's a simple way to see it coming out and going back in as non-recurring money.
And I appreciate that. The question I guess I really have of the $2,099,000 that we put into that non-recurring administrative fund, do you know what percentage of it was actually used? Because I think that's where the discrepancy last year fell in the budget, that a lot of people didn't feel like you needed that money. And I'd like to know at what percentage was that money actually spent?
Just off the top of my head, I'd say we're going to spend at least 95% of that.
Okay, all right. So we're within $100,000, give or take a little bit.
Easily.
Okay, okay. And so the question, I guess, that I'll ask here is it working well that way? Is it creating any delays, or did everything get paid? Did everything get handled in a timely manner as it should be?
I think it worked very well.
Okay.
It allows us to separate those election expenditures from our day-to-day operation, and it's easier to explain to the general public if they want to know what's going on.
Okay, and so to the finance department, has it made it more transparent to where everybody understands the money that's being allocated here and budgeted?
Absolutely.
That it's been used in the manner in which it was budgeted?
Absolutely. It really helps us to track those election costs much easier when it's separated over there in that account.
Okay.
Much easier.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad it's working the way that it was designed, or that it was hoped for that it would work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Member of the committee, Angie Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. My question is regarding satellite city elections. I have 2 satellite cities within my district, and I notice how sometimes their elections just stand alone. And I wonder to what extent you've analyzed the cost effectiveness of that. I mean, I understand in their establishment, they've established a certain pattern of when they have their elections, but have you all ever looked at that or had that conversation with those cities about how they might be consolidated with other elections, and if there would be a cost savings in doing so?
In the past, we have had those conversations with satellite cities, and that is one reason why the Belmead, Goodlettsville, and the Forest Hills elections are held in conjunction with our November election. And so we continue to have that conversation, but again, as you stated, that the satellite city just prefers to do their elections on a standalone.
So it is their preference to do it as a standalone?
Yes, that is the city's authority to decide if they want to hold their election in conjunction with another election, with a major election. But we have no say-so in how they choose when to have their election, because their charter specifically states when they have those elections.
Understood. From y'all's perspective, is there more cost to Metro because they're held separately?
More cost to the city.
More cost to the
The
city?
city, because we would get the bill from them. I mean, we
Okay,
would-
so they
We would
pay-
bill them, and they pay for the election to be held.
Okay, so they pay for that in full?
Yes. they
Thank you
do.
for clarifying that.
Yes,
Thank
they
you.
do.
Thank you, Council Lady. Committee Member Berkeley Allen.
Thank you. Just to go back to the theme of the operating budget versus the election budget. So when I look on page D051 and I see the total of 2.8 million, more or less, for your operating budget for 2017, 2018, then separately from that is the $980,600 budget for the election in this year. And so it's not showing up in the actual operating budget, but does it come out of the Metro budget?
It does. I'll tell you, speak to exactly where it's located in your budget book.
Great.
I'm going to look that up right now. It shows as a line item in the back, Council Lady, under Section J.
Ah, okay.
It's J, Mike has already found it. J01-2.
J01-2. Okay, perfect. So we
So
see
that
it.
specific item you'll see listed there.
Okay, great. That makes sense. And it really is helpful to have it pulled out because then we can sort of compare year to year. So I appreciate y'all going through to do that. And then I think within just the regular operating budget, there's this interesting $34,800 in charges, commissions, and fees, which is notably larger than the $3,000 in the previous year. I hope somebody didn't ask that question already, but what's the big jump from?
Satellite city elections.
Okay, and is the cost for satellite city elections then up there in that $2.8 million cost?
The cost we have estimated right now is somewhere around $39,000.
Gotcha.
You know, we have to go through a process of identifying specifically each cost for the city election and breaking that out so that their auditors are satisfied. So there could be a little bit of difference, but they will pay the
Gotcha.
total cost.
So that's a wash that shows up
Yes, right.
in both the expenditures and
It will
the
be a
revenues.
wash at the end.
Okay, that's very helpful. And then another question, as you said, early voting is very popular and everybody wants to hang on to that. Does it ultimately decrease the cost on election day to run the election that day, or do you think it eventually will as we continue to see it increase?
You know, Joan probably can jump in there. My first experience, I wouldn't think so because, you know, we still have to have all of those workers at early voting so that the lines aren't super long. We then have to anticipate to have enough workers for election day so that the lines aren't too long and we can accomplish it in a reasonable hour.
So maybe not a cost savings, but certainly in goodwill, it goes a long way.
Goodwill and convenience for the voter and, you know, increasing voter participation, I think it
That's worth
makes
the
a
money.
difference.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
that's where it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to you guys with the Election Commission, I would like to thank you so much. With creating the system that we work and all of that good stuff, making that partial smooth for us, and I really appreciate that. The other side of it is basically running an election, that headache, but you guys have made it easier for us. And Joan, you know, the extra calls to be able to help out, I really appreciate that as well. But I understand this is a budget hearing, and we're here to look at budget issues. But pertaining to the situation with the camaraderie with the election office, we are upon a upcoming election for the gubernatorial year, and I know that is a lot that's happening with you guys. But the camaraderie that we're looking on, and me being the council person of my district and as well as a council person here in the city, I've received several calls from constituents, and just turning a little bit is looking at to the grievance process that has been happening with the camaraderie, because we don't want the election camaraderie or the employees to actually fall apart and have any issues. We do know that there was stated of some offenses or whatever that happened before. But the first side of that question, my question is, with any grievances that you guys have from employees or anything inside of your system, does that go through our HR department?
I'll let the chairman speak to the process.
We've got a procedure whereby, depending on who the complaint is against, it might fall under a policy that we recently passed called the Speak Up policy. So if there's a complaint made against somebody in superior authority, the person who's offended or the complainant can make that complaint to the chair or to another member of the commission, and we passed a policy concerning that. I do know that in the one instance that has occurred, I did consult with Human Resources and work with them to make sure that, that it's not what I do every day, so I made sure I consulted with Metro Human Resources in making sure that I followed their policies as well as our own.
Okay, that is good to hear, and what we will need to do is to follow up, because again, we want to make sure that the camaraderie with the Election Commission and everything else that goes by, that we don't have a breakdown. We don't want to be like other cities. We want to be our very own, because we have a smooth transition or a smoother system that we have. But as of now, we know that there were some grievances that were brought up to us, and they will be discussed in other hearings or other meetings that will be cut up with you guys shortly. But I want to suggest to you all to please allow the system to go through. Especially if there's any hearing grievances that are going through with employees, to utilize our HR department as much as you can, because it is a serious matter, especially when we are brought on into some things, and we want to find out the truth. We want to fix the situation, and we want to make sure that we are running to the highest levels ever than before. And I understand we will have some trips, we will have some falls, but we don't have to stay down. Right now, I'll just transition back over to the budget side, but you guys will be hearing from us, especially with the Minority Caucus. We'll be calling for you all for a meeting with you concerning some grievances, because we have to fix whatever's broken so that we can have a better transition shortly. All right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Joan, Ms. Roberts, just got a few questions. The one thing I am impressed about is how you go about using the voting machines. And if you talk a little bit, and I know neighbors are always interested in the most use we can get out. I think you allow high schools, churches to use the machines or your old machines, which is good, because I think they go through their civic classes. And that's real helpful, because that's taxpayers' money being used over again. The other thing is, do you bring the machines out to the prisons? And we all know that everybody is locked up, hadn't lost their voting rights. There are some in there for less reasons than felony reasons. So how do we do that on Election Day? And I have some other questions, and one I'm concerned about, early voting. Where do we secure those votes between the time early voting cuts off and the first day start? I have always been concerned about knowing the safety, and I don't want you to tell me where. I understand that could be classified, but there have been concerns with people out there, and I know that this is a security question, so if you can speak to that issue, it would be extremely helpful.
Well, the voting machines, after early voting ends, the voting machines are locked up.
Joan, can you speak into that,
Oh, I'm
Mike?
sorry.
Okay.
The voting after early voting ends, the voting machines used in early voting are placed at our warehouse, and
Under lock and key, security?
Yes, security.
Okay.
Yes, they are secure. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, that's good. What are we doing with our other machines, the ones that are outdated? Are we loaning them to schools and churches for kids and people to practice on? I mean, I think they're still good, but they may be outdated.
Yes, Bobby Medley and Reed Lovell are our voting machine technicians, and they do several elections, also in addition to the major elections we have in a year. So they're extremely busy and getting around in the community to show how the machines are used. We do sometimes use the old machines, I call the old Shooptronic machines, where you see the full ballot. They were used at a high school supplemental to give the students an opportunity to cast their ballot. Your question about people who are in jail, they've been charged but not
Incarcerated, yeah.
convicted. We have prison deputies, and what they do is they go to the jails and to the prison. We still have a few inmates that are still registered to vote. They did not lose their voting rights.
Exactly.
But we do go to those facilities to attest to their ballots. I've done that before, so
Okay.
it is a process that we work with the Sheriff's Department and with our absentee special voters service. So we do coordinate that with them. And there are deadlines that they do have to adhere to when processing a ballot for a person that is incarcerated or as in jail if they're being charged.
And do you loan the machines out to churches too when they have special election in
Yes, that is
churches?
part of our community service that we do for our community. And so, yes, if you want to use a voting machine for an event that you have, we do.
Is that a service charge to the constituent? I'm not the constituent,
No.
but to the citizen? It's something that you all.
That we do.
That's very good.
Yes.
And just finally here, sometimes we have some federal restrictions, sort of ID voting, and just recently they talked about taking your phone into the booth. When we have those mandates by the state and federal government, do they furnish resources to help us out here on the local level? We have the state level, the presidential elections coming up. How do they kick into our budget to supplement all three elections going on at the same time?
The only election that the state, of course you all know, reimburses the counties is the presidential preference election. So the election that we had in March, those funds were given back in the general fund for metro government. Outside of that, our state coordinator of elections, if there was something that the federal or the state level would do to help us process an election or perform our duties, we rely on the state coordinator of elections to guide us into making those decisions or making those things happen.
So if we had an amendment, a state amendment, would the state help fund us for having that amendment on the ballot?
I don't believe so, but I mean, I where you're coming from.
Yeah,
They
because,
don't-
I mean,
they don't reimburse us for putting a state referendum on our ballot.
Okay, okay,
Right.
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. We're going to go on to the last questioner, Jim Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two real quick questions. The 12,200 internal service charges, those went up. That's an increase.
Yeah.
Do you know why did it go up?
Based on finance, it's for IT services, motor vehicle, fleet, general services, those kind of things, where they provide services to us.
That's not your number, that's the number that they gave you.
They gave us.
Okay.
Right.
And then one last question is, and I think I've talked to you all about this before, and I think I know that you all can't do it, but communications, I know you've got it in your budget. This is about places like Seattle and other places that send out information about what's on the ballot. I know we sent out something, I think we actually sent out the sample ballot.
Yes.
But I'm talking about information about candidates, information about charter things, and I don't think we can do that.
No,
Have
we
we ever-
cannot. We cannot interpret the ballot for the voter.
Right.
And any time that we have gotten questions about the ballot, we tell them that the ballot speaks for itself. And so that is our blanket response.
Okay.
And it has to be that way because we cannot interpret the ballot.
And I know that, but I know that other cities, I think
Yes,
Seattle
other
does
cities do.
that.
They do have a candidate page and put information such as what they stand for, what they don't, but we don't have that. We don't have that.
And do you know who does that? Like in Seattle, is it League of Women Voters, or is it their election commission that does
Now, we do
it?
have outside agencies such as the
Right.
League that may add more to our sample ballot, what our sample ballot says. They may have their own way of getting the message out to the voters about certain things, but we're just limited with the sample ballot and presenting that to the voter.
I would like our voters to be fully cognizant, particularly if we have charter
When
changes
you
or
have
amendments.
and we
want
get
them
a
to know
lot
it.
of that,
Yeah.
and we also, I put on the sample ballot that our poll officials cannot ask, our election officials cannot ask about anything on the ballot.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Shulman, and thank the Election Commission for being here. And then we'll move on to the municipal auditorium, if you'd come forward. We apologize for running late a little bit, and we'll appreciate you coming down.